Hello, I'm David Haxton, and we're here in Boda, and I'm here to speak to you a little bit about pruning. Pruning itself should start well in advance to the time that you actually start pruning the trees. Pruning will take place following harvest, but preparation for pruning should start just as harvest is taking place. This is done because you need to identify particular trees that are high yielding and best producing. Pruning itself is one way to increase the yield because it allows the trees that are high producing to have access to direct sunlight and also to develop sort of a canopy type shape horizontally in the direct sunlight, which will increase the yield. So one method that we have identified is the rope measurement method. And the rope measurement is done with a rope that we tie around the trunk of a high-producing tree. And the rope measures a total length of 10 meters, which is 30 feet. And 30 feet has been identified by MOFA as the correct spacing between high-producing trees to encourage maximum production. And I'll now walk out to identify particular trees that will need to be removed so as to eliminate competition for direct sunlight. So, as can be seen here, we are extended out not quite to the end of the rope, and trees that come into contact with the rope should be those that will be removed so as to open up the space for high-producing trees. If you decide not to go with the rope method, would be to walk out or pace the appropriate distance. So this can be done by standing by your high-producing tree that's been identified by your farmer, and one average step is equivalent to about a yard, which is 3 feet. And if you take approximately 8 to 10 steps from your origin, you'll be able to identify the correct spacing, which is about 30 feet between trees. So now that with the assistance of your farmer, you have gone through and identified the particular trees that need to be removed from the field, you are ready to cut. A chainsaw is generally the easiest tool to use for the removal of trees. If you're not familiar with chainsaw operation, you can either acquaint yourself with a safety manual, but better yet, to consult chainsaw operators that are within your community to help you with the process. When sizing up your tree, it's important to look up into the canopy before you start cutting. You look into the canopy to get a sense of where the majority of the weight is distributed within the canopy. For this particular tree, I can identify that most of the weight is distributed away from me, and so I can understand that from this it is encouraged to fall in that particular direction. You can ensure further that the tree will fall in that particular direction by following a 3-cut method that will help to encourage it to fall in that direction. So starting out, your first cut is a face cut, and it will be done in a diagonal fashion. Once you have started your face cut, you will continue through approximately a quarter of the way through the tree. The second cut, which is also a face cut, is a flat cut, and you will continue the cut until it is joined with the initial sloped cut. Now, the final cut is called a back cut, and it takes place on the back side of the tree, slightly higher than the bottom corner of the initial wedge. Where the wedge is cut out, so in this circumstance, the wedge will be cut on this side. It will control the direction of the fall of the tree. And so once the wedge is in place and the back cut is started, you will leave a small portion of connecting tissue to help guide the direction of the fall. But you don't want to cut all the way through because it will act as a hinge and keep the trunk of the tree from coming towards your midsection, because we don't need a shish kebab in Boda. It's important to make the final cut at an angle so as to prevent water accumulation on the top of the stump. In the case of water accumulation, it leads to rot and also pest infestation of the stump.
And when you finish the pruning, you need to coat the surfaces where you have cut. If you do not coat the surfaces, it will serve as an entry for other pathogens to get into the to that area and then destroy the stem. Water can even collect there, and then there can be rotting on that area, and then it will affect your whole plant. So you need to coat.
Okay, now that we've painted the top of the stump with dirty oil, we now want to cover it with some brush. So we'll take some of the canopy that we have cut down and cover it so that there's not direct sunlight on this stump. And then in a few weeks' time, we will see the side shoots. In addition to removing low-producing trees, any branches, even if they are on high-producing trees, if they're below your eye line, should be removed. This is meant to encourage formation of the canopy. It should be shaped much like an umbrella. In addition to removing
Bye, corn dog.
cash graft, you